Hey guys, today we'll be downloading and installing Windows Remote Admin Tools for Windows Vista. So the first thing we want to do is when we open our web browser, we want to run a general search for Microsoft Remote Access Admin Tools for Windows Vista. And we'll be guided to this Microsoft website. Yeah, we'll use the first link to download. Once the web page has opened, we want to scroll down and we can see a list of detailed system requirements, install instruction, and related resources. If we just click details, you can see the file name is Windows 6.0 KB 941314, and I'll be using the 32-bit version, which is the x86, the English, US, and is a MSU file, and it's actually 17.9 megabytes. Right, as you can see, in order for this to be installed, we must have Windows Vista Service Pack 1 or later. So what I'll do is click continue because I've already installed Service Pack 1 on my virtual machine. And we will now be guided to this download page where we can actually download the file by clicking download. As you can see, this file hasn't been downloaded yet, but we have been thanked for downloading. The download should start in a couple of seconds. In our Windows Vista, it usually appears blocked, so we'll have to right click on the yellow bar and click download file. I already have the file on my system, so I'll skip this part for now. Okay, so I've already downloaded the Remote Access Admin Tools, also known as RSAT, on my system. So in order to access the file, we're going to the Start menu, and we want to go into the Control panel. Once in here, we want to go into Programs and Features, and we like to turn Windows features on off. We'll click continue, and we'll just wait for this to be populated. In our Windows features, we now want to scroll down to Remote Server and Administrative Tools, and actually we'll want to turn it on by clicking the box. But in order to get the features of the Remote Access Administrative Tools, we'll have to hit the expand to the right, and we will see Administrative Tools and Rules Administration Tools. We also want to expand these two. As you can see, all the different features have been selected, and which include Group Policy Management, the Active Directory Certificate Service, the Active Domain Service Tools, etc. And we want to ensure which features we want to add to this Remote Access Administrative Tool has been selected, and we'll hit OK. Once we have selected OK, this installation of these features should take a couple of minutes. So I'll pause the video and return when it is finished. Now that the setting up of the Remote Administrative Tools has been completed, we can see the features that has been added by going into the Start menu and running a search for Admin Tools. We could select the Admin Tools folder, and here we can see a list of features that has been added. These features are similar to the Windows Server 2008 Admin Tools features. We have the Active Directory on computers, we have the Active Domain and Trust, we have the DNS server, we have the DHCP, we have the Group Policy Management. But in order to administer these features, we'll be using the MMC, the Microsoft Management Console. And we could get this Microsoft Management Console by going into the Start menu and type in MMC. Okay. This MMC feature will help us to administer the RSAT features both locally and remotely. So what we want to do is right click on Add. We are now going to add the snapping to the Microsoft Management Console. To do this, we go into File, Add and Remove Snapping, or Control M. I'm going to add the snapping, which include Active Directory. I'm going to add the DHCP, the DNS, I'm going to add the Group Policy Management, and I'll add the remote desktops, and I'll hit OK. And basically it says this pop-up here need to be a member of our domain to use the group policy, which I am a member of the domain of the server already. In a real-life situation, this is basically how an administrator will be using a client machine to access the server, because basically he may not have the authority to go into the server room and actually sit down and work on the actual physical server machine. So he'll be given a client machine where he'll be able to do all the tasks that the server will be able to do. So what he'll be doing is basically he'll use the remote desktop to be able to connect to the server into the server room, which he'll right click and add new connection. He'll be basically entering the server name which he'll be logging into, which is server 2 in this case, or you can simply browse the server. And I'll just hit OK in this case. As you can see, the server, it is trying to connect to the server 2. You just wait. In order to connect to the server, the remote desktop must be enabled on your server. So, having already enabled it on the server, I'm going to enter the administrative credentials to get into the system. and we'll just wait for it to connect to this server remotely. And here we see we have all the available options of the server. For it to show full screen, basically when we finish saving it, we reopen it and it'll show full screen. But for now we'll use it as this. In order to save, we go into File and we save as, and I'll save it to my documents and I'll name it admin. Okay, I'll close it and reopen it so we can get a better view of the server. Here we see in my documents, it is a MMC file. Okay, continue. But each time we turn it off, we have to reconnect onto the server by entering the credentials once again. As you can now see, we have a full screen image and we can remotely access all the features on the server. If we want, we can add accounts and so on. Now I'm going to switch back to some of the other snap-ins I installed earlier. I'll go into the Active Directory. And here we can, if you right click, we see you can change with the domain. You can change domain controller, task. So we're going to change. And now we move on to the DHCP snap-in. And we can see if we right click, we can add a new server, we can manage authorize servers, and I'll move over to the DNS now by right clicking, and you can see we can connect to the DNS server, and there's also the all tasks which gives you the option to connect to the DNS server also. If we want, we could go back and add more snap-ins if we want, like simply going through the list of features and adding them to the same MMC. And we can also go into File, Options, and we can change the console mode. We're given different user privileges. And this has been my video. Thanks for watching.